All right. It is Monday night. Today is August 18th. Not for long. Yeah, for maybe a half an hour. And then we'll be on to the 19th. We're almost, we're over halfway through August, which is amazing when you think about it. Because next comes September. I mean, for all the parents, this is why I wanted to do this tonight. Scientology, are they in your child's school? I'm not going to start in on it until somebody shows up, but I hope they will. It's Monday night. You never know. It's a busy night. Well, it's a busy night, and it's also been a busy weekend. So a lot of people may go to bed early, in which case I'll just tell you what I think about it. But hopefully some more people come. I hope they do. I hope you had a good weekend, too. My name's Tori Chrisman, by the way. I'm sorry. I apologize. I didn't introduce myself. I'm Tori Magoo 44 on the internet. Hey, Mark. Hi. Thanks for coming by. Midnight with Magoo. You got that right. Hey, JV 808. Hi. Ooh, it's 8:30 there. Nice. Later here, it's almost midnight. It's a half an hour until midnight. So there you go. Midnight with Magoo. That was my original plan, was to just do it every midnight. But it ended up, I went to bed way late by the time I, finished and put everything away and then, got ready for bed. And it was just too late. And then I'd sleep all day. Hi, Moon and Stars. Thank you for coming by. I thought of you guys. I really wasn't going to come on tonight. I thought, they don't care. And I thought, nah, I really should. I miss you guys. I do. I want you to know that. I really, really appreciate it when you come on. But I hope you want me to keep making videos, because sometimes I think, enough. Hey, Moon and Stars. I love that nickname. I do. Moon and Stars. And I like JB808 too. That's good. Shade Tree Mechanic. All right. That's cool. I'm glad you came on. Today's my birthday. Happy birthday, Moon and Stars. I didn't know that. That's fantastic. Happy birthday. We should have a celebration, but I don't have any balloons nearby. But I'm sending you kisses and love and stars and all kinds of good things. Of course, we want you to continue. We're enlightened and grateful. All right. Well, thank you, JB808. I appreciate that, because, it's hard to tell. Thank you so much. I hear everyone singing in my head. That's right. We are. We are, exactly. And giving you a birthday cake, too. If I knew it was your birthday, I would have baked a cake. Well, happy birthday. And I hope it's a wonderful year for you. I really do. It's going to be an interesting, we've got the rest of this year and then the next year. Happy birthday to you. I'm not going to sing, no. But I do wish you a very happy birthday. Did you have a good birthday? Was it a good day? Because I think it's still a little early for you. See, even for JB808 on mine, it says 11:29. It doesn't show your time. And this is my new necklace. I don't think you can see it, but see? Ooh. I would send it over to you, Moon and Stars, as a birthday gift, but I'm still working on that ability to be able to send things. It just started. It's 1:30 here. Oh, your birthday just started. Wow. All right. Well, good. So you've got the whole rest of the day. Oh, that's going to be fun. Ooh, that's very pretty. It's the thought that counts. Well, there you go. It's yours. Very pretty necklace. Thank you, Javier. I think I said that right. Spanky's always correcting me on that kind of thing, because I say it. We have different friends that have different names, and I think it's Javier. Or it could be Janvier. I don't know. You'll have to let me know. Yeah, type it out and let me know phonetically how it is, how it sounds. But anyway, I'm trying to think what I did over the weekend. I don't even know what I did. I did something, but I don't remember what it is. I can't. I think I went over to Spanky's and, oh yeah, I saw Jesse Prince. That's right. He came up and we all went out to lunch. That was great. He said to say hello to all of you. He's a great guy. If you've never heard him speak, Google Jesse Prince. Did you have the wedding? I had the wedding last weekend and it was glorious. I mean, I put the pictures on Facebook because they had it. They were two pilots that got married, young people. They were the children, not children, but, well, they are the children of some of our friends and they're pilots. And they got married. Hi, Danny. They got married in a hangar at Burbank Airport. Now this says Zanvia. Oh wow, Zanvia. Well, thank you for writing that out. I probably won't remember it, but I will work on it. Zanvia. Well, I apologize if I call you Javier, but Zanvia I like. That's really nice. Hi, Danny. Welcome. Jesse Prince. That's awesome. Hope he's living his best life. He is. I'm telling you, he's on Facebook. If you ever want to go check him out, he has a huge, well, it's not huge, but he has like a couple of children and they're grown up now and they have grandchildren. And then those grandchildren now have great grandchildren. So he has a beautiful family. He really does. So that's pretty much why he's not doing Scientology anymore, because he's spending all his time with his family. And that's really great. I'm fine, however you say it. Okay, good. Okay, because I'll try to remember Zanvia. I like that, but it's a tricky one for me to remember. It's tricky for me to remember most names. But anyway, it was fun to see Jesse, and he's such a dear. He's an amazing guy. And he said, God, you're showing up everywhere on my TikTok thing. And I said, yeah, I know. It's kind of gone wild. It's been a fun ride. It really has. And they're a whole different group of people who are brand new to all of this, a lot of them. And so it's kind of interesting because they have like tons of questions. So there you go. It's like life rolls on. And then we were watching, oh yeah, Spanky and I watched a little mini series over the weekend. That was it, called Sirens. It's on Netflix. And it's very unusual, but interesting movie, really. We saw the end of it tonight, and it's very interesting. Both of us are kind of movie freaks, so we like to watch different movies. So there you go. That's what we did. And I saw my son a bit. He's doing great. And he helped me out. So that was good. He's really sharp. He's a cool guy. So anyway, there you go. That was my weekend. And we went to the wedding. They had it in the hangar, which was really interesting. They had planes around, little mini, not mini, but, like small planes. And, but they both fly big planes, like 747s and everything. So it's a wonderful family. So it was really a beautiful wedding, just beautiful ceremony and, really lovely. So it was very nice. So that was the wedding. But yes, I did. And today, Zambiar is Moon and Star's birthday. So I won't ask how old you are, but you can tell us if you want. So funny the way people are with age. They have very, very, you know, like some people are, no, I don't want to have anything to do with, I don't want to say anything. Or they lie, they make up a certain age. That's it. 56. That's a good age. That is a good age. I escaped out of Scientology at 53. So yeah, it's a very good time for me. I mean, it was tricky. It was really tricky. That whole age was hard because I lost my husband and all my friends. But I made so many friends around the world. I mean, all you guys. It's just been fantastic. So that's one thing that I try to remind people. It's like people are so wonderful. If you kind of keep your antennas out. I kind of think of us as radios. And if we have our spiritual antennas up, people will contact you. They just will. That's the way it is. But if your antennas are down, just like a radio, it doesn't pick up any signal. That's how it is. And it's the same after death, too. And I've had amazing communications from people after they passed away. So that's nice. Now let me go up and see. It's Zambia. Okay. Excuse me, because it says IER, so it sounds like it would be Zanvier. Excuse me, but it's Zambia. All right. Well, moon and stars, that's a wonderful age, 56. It really is. You're going to have a good year. You're very fascinated. What are you fascinated with? I'm going to try to say your name again right. I'll keep saying it until I get it. Determined. Zambia. All right. Can you tell us where you live, Zambia? It's a very cool name. It sounds like you live in an exotic place, Zambia. Is that really your name? That's a cool name. Okay, so Scientology, are they in your children's schools? Now, I don't know how many of you have children or not, but even if you don't, if you have friends who have children in schools, it's a really important thing to let them know, because Scientology has all these front groups that they use. Narconon, Criminon, Applied Scholastics, Way to Happiness. And they all, like, hey, Connie V, they all sound like it's important and they're good. But Professor Dave Turetsky, who is at Carnegie Mellon and is a critic, he's a professor there, and he's also a critic of Scientology. And for years, he was very, very active. And he contacted, I think it was San Francisco, where they were going to do an article about this on Narconon, having weaseled into all the public schools here in California. Post the link. Hi, Connie. Gotta? Okay, post the link to what? It's not a full sentence. Hey, JB. Anyway, you can go to Carnegie Mellon and look up Dave Turetsky. And the Narconon thing, I think they've slipped back into the schools. That's what I heard. So that's kind of why I want to let people know. Wait a minute, I just realized I have my thing here. You don't need that there. But at the time, coward. Okay. We'll see you in a little bit. I don't really need people coming around calling me names. It's the least likely thing I like on the internet. And I don't really care. You can do it, but it's just waste other people's time. Yeah, it is rude. It is. So I put them on a timeout, whoever it is. And we'll see if they pop back on, which they probably will. Then we'll see what happens. Yeah, he's out of here. That's right. But anyway, what happened is Dave and a bunch of people did a bunch of research, and they found that Scientology had slipped into all the public schools here in California, in the state of California, and they were teaching the Narcanon drug education, right? And we all went, wait a minute, you can't, there's very definite, you can't cross church and state in America. So that is a definite church, church and state. So San Francisco gave them a rule. They said, okay, get rid of all the religious stuff that is in this Narcanon stuff, and you can stay. But they couldn't, because of keeping Scientology working. They couldn't just, ban stuff. So we got them all kicked out. They were out of all the schools for years. And now I've just heard recently that they're slipping back in. So that's why I wanted to do this. I want people to make sure to check on your public schools. Even if you don't have kids there, just check and say, I just am checking it. Are you using any of the Hubbard management technology in this school? Because my taxes pay for this school to be, because your taxes do. And if they are, no, it shouldn't happen. So anyway, that's the thing that you can check on. Tori is our favorite. Be nice or well wish. All Scientologists get your phone number. that would be a good one. Well, anyway, I don't know if he'll come back or not, and that's fine with me, because I don't like people that call people the names anywhere. Really, the only people who call people names, and this is a good lesson for anybody on the internet, are bullies. And my dad taught me this when I was a young girl, because I was hanging around with my older brothers, and they were hanging around with guys. I had a couple of my girlfriends that came with us, but mostly we were the minority. And my dad said, look, I really want you to learn this. Bullies will never sit down at the table with you. No matter how much you disagree with someone, it's okay for them to be there as long as they'll sit down at the table and talk. But bullies never will. They'll just call you names like that. Okay, so CO Bill F. Someone in the community mentioned seeing Scientology front group material at a public school in Alaska. Exactly. See, that's the thing. And anybody can check on it. If you live in the area, you can check on it. JB808 said, do you remember when Will Smith, of course, opened up the school that taught Hubbard Tech and was staffed by mostly Scientologists? Yep. Yet he denied it was a Scientology school. I remember it very well. It was all over the internet. It was a big deal, as well as, in town and stuff like that. It was kind of a big deal. He kind of screwed up, didn't he? In more than one way. I can't remember, was he the guy who got hit, or he was the guy who hit the other guy? I think he was the guy who hit that guy at the Academy Awards, right? Wasn't that Will Smith? I think it was. If it wasn't, I apologize. But I think it was. And it was like, oh, boy, that was weird. We were all watching it going, that's weird. Happy birthday, Moon and Stars. Hi, Sieglin. Yeah. So all of you can check around at your own schools, your own public schools, and see. He was the one who slapped Chris Rock. That's right. That's right. So it was Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. Thank you, JV808. That's what I thought. I thought it was, but I couldn't remember it was Chris Rock. Cool. COB, Scientology does not appear to have worked very well for Will Smith. Yeah, that's kind of an understatement. I agree with you there. Mark says, Tori, there is a Tudor front in Hollywood. Dan Walks LA went by it today. There is never anyone there inside another front. Do you think it's a Scientology tutoring thing? I would be surprised if Scientology was on Hollywood Boulevard. I really would. I mean, as far as trying to tutor kids, I just would. But I like Dan Walks LA. I'll have to talk to him and see. I know we have one here in Burbank, and I often think, I wonder if this is a Scientology front, because it looks like that. It's always empty. There's never anybody in there. Well, there's some people. That's not true. There's some people. Is it occurring in public schools outside of California? That I don't know. That's why I also mention it, because people outside of California, you should check with your school. And don't say, is Scientology in here? Because they're not, they'll say no. But you can say, I'm just checking. Do you use any of the Hubbard management or any of the Hubbard technology in our school, in our local school? And they might say, why do you care? And you'd say, well, first answer me and let me know. Hi, love it. It's Moon and Star's birthday today. Just starting now. Yeah, I would just say, see if you can get the question answered first, because it's an important one. I don't know why this thing is here. Huh. Interesting. Okay. I don't know why there's so many things on this little laptop that I don't know how to use. Howdy, love it. Yeah, happy birthday. It's going to be a good year for Moon and Stars. I don't personally think they should be forcing any religion in schools. Exactly. No, it's totally a violation of the Constitution, which is church and state are separate. And love it, just so you know, somebody came in here and was pretty rude, so I put them on a timeout. So I don't know if they come back, you can handle it now. Ooh, look at this. Sarah says not. Okay, not. Oh, I don't personally think they should be forcing any religion in schools. And then you said not. Yeah, they should not. Right. JB808 per chat GBT at Prescott Middle School in Louisiana, a public school in a low-performing area. 8th graders were taught using a study technology currently developed by L. Ron Hubbard. See, there you go. Thank you. Very good. So that is a thing which is a little bit tricky in that it is, I'm not really anti the study technology, the basic study technology, because it basically teaches kids to, some good little basic tools for study. But if they're using it as an introduction into, which they are, into using L. Ron Hubbard, that's not good. And it is a violation of church and state. So somebody in Louisiana would be very smart to let them know. But thank you, JB808, for mentioning that. And please remind me so we can keep, pointing it out, because maybe somebody from Louisiana will come on. I agree, Sarah. Aloha. That's right. Tori, when you were in, did you see many children in? When Laura and Dan were in the blue today, Laura saw an old teacher of hers. No, I didn't see, I didn't see many children. No, but I was public. And so I was like in the academy, and there weren't children in the academy, or if they had an academy, it was one for the kids. It wasn't, I don't know if they did, but I'm just saying they weren't in our academy. And then auditing, it was just for adults. So I didn't see the same thing that they saw, but they were in the C organization. I was public. So very different, groups of people. But no, I didn't really see many children at the Scientology areas. I mean, I saw them at the schools because my I worked at one of the Scientology schools, and my son went to a couple of the Scientology schools, quite a few. So it's a whole nother story. Okay, Zambia. Okay, thank you. I don't know much about the Hubbard technology. That's fine. It's basically based on Scientology. It started with Dianetics in 1950, and he promoted it as it was something that could help you. It could help you handle anything that you were upset with. The fact is, it may handle it temporarily, but it doesn't really get rid of it for the most part. I can't say all the time because some people have had bigger, they call them wins, where success, where something's happened. But most of it's a giant scam. He said in 1949, if you want to make money, start a religion. So that was it's really a covert mind control, financial fraud pretending to be a religion. That's really what Scientology is. Aloha, love it. All right. Separation of church and state. Exactly, Connie. But anybody, who knows anybody in Louisiana, let's see if we can get this thing, out there. Scientology anti-drug fronts are also something they try to use. Exactly. They have packages for educators, I think. Unbelievable. So it's kind of a thing where the public can stay on top of it. Do you see what I mean? And you have every right, if you're a taxpayer, to call the schools and ask them, is Narconon in your school? No, we've never heard of it. Do you have any of the Scientology or their L. Ron Hubbard technology? Do you have any of that in the school at all? Way to Happiness, Applied Scholastics, Narconon, Criminon. Well, they wouldn't have Criminon, but they'd have Narconon, Way to Happiness, Applied Scholastics. I think those three are the three big ones. But, you want to check on it. Sarah, I live in Canada. Ooh, however, they don't teach religion in public schools, but they do have separate schools dedicated to specific religions. Yeah, that's kind of how this is too. So they have like a Scientology school, but in public school, you're right, they don't. But that's why it's really weird, because these are sliding into public schools. They're not private schools. Private schools, they can do whatever they want, because that's, people are paying to have their kids go there. And that's just the way it is. But in public schools, they are governed by our Constitution, and there's a definite clause on separation of church and state. So there you go. And public schools are state, they're state run. So that's that. The study tech works, but it likely wasn't LRH tech. Nothing was LRH tech. It was invented by someone else and plagiarized by Hubbard. That's kind of true. Thank you, Sieglin. That's true for all of his technology, really. My friend spent 10 years with his partner tracing down every single piece of technology, and everything had an earlier beginning and an earlier source. So yeah, he was a master of taking something, adding a little bit to it or twisting it, putting a big bow around it, and slapping his name on it, L. Ron Hubbard. That's why I say he's very similar to Trump. They're kind of like polar, mirror images of each other. Sieglin, great point. Yeah, it is a great point. Not everyone worships the same is my problem with religion, prayer in schools. Absolutely. Yeah, it really should be separate. Hi, Tom. Hi, Tom. Tom Ricardo. Cool. Hi. Thanks for coming by. Make sure everyone hits the like button. This is like, maybe this is too late at night now, because look at that. We only have 28 people here. It's a slim. Hey, Tom. Or you guys can bring some more people. That would help too. It's tricky. It's tricky. Or you can, the other thing that would help me is if you ask me questions. That definitely helps, because I don't really know what people are interested in, so it helps to, when you ask questions. I'm a night owl, so I was glad to see you live. Oh, good, Connie. I'm glad to hear that. I liked and subscribed. Thank you, Tom. I'm glad you did. I appreciate that. Good. That's very good. And where, can you tell us where you live, Tom? I'm in Burbank, California, and we have people all around the world, so that's kind of neat. And you're all welcome. Can you please talk about the early education stuff you did with your son? It's so interesting. Well, the early stuff I did had nothing to do with Scientology. Do you mean the Doman technology? Is that what you're talking about? Central Coast, Tom. Anyway, I was teaching at a daycare center. Not teaching, but we were watching some young 1 to 2.5-year-old kids. So we were just there. And I wanted to be around my son, so that worked out. So I was there, and one of the people that was working there found out about this Dr. Doman in Philadelphia. And he mainly specialized with seriously brain-injured children. And he found he could bring them often with certain stimulation and different actions from normal into genius category. Oh, we can talk about things other than Scientology. Okay, good. So he found he could bring them from normal into genius category many times. So then when our kids were 2, he started thinking, well, wait a minute, if I can do this with brain injured children, what about well kids? Maybe I can help them. So he started a thing called the Better Baby Week. And he sells a book called, I have so many books in my head that I always tell people to get. How to Increase Your Baby's Intelligence by Dr. Glenn Doman. Okay, so we flew there. We all signed up. We paid for it. It was a week-long seminar. He said, look, I'm going to teach you exactly what I teach the brain-injured parents. And we've had great results with the well kids. So we learned all this stuff. It was fascinating, because part of it is that you can build, he pointed out, like Kennedy's father, something happened to him. I think he had a stroke. And so people were in the hospital screaming at him, going, my name is Tori, right? Or something like that. Or how are you? And Glenn went over to him and he held his hand and he said, I know that you can hear me. And it's just a portion of your brain that you cannot speak right now. And if you hear me, I want you to squeeze my hand. And he squeezed his hand. And it was just like, that was the beginning of him explaining the brain and how, we only use, let's say our brain is this much is our brain. We only use a little portion of it. You know what I mean? There's a whole bunch of it that really isn't used. So with his program, it's fascinating. I mean, like, first of all, he says, put all the kids on the floor. But the number one mistake parents make is they try to get kids off the floor and walking. He said, no, you want them creeping and crawling, because that builds pathways into their brain. It makes them smarter. So anyway, it was very fascinating. The other thing was that he said, and this was early on. Now you can buy things like this, but early on you'd open a book and he would show a book and it would have, a cow and a horse and a tree and a dog, let's say. And and it would say, this is a dog. He would say, well, think of how confusing that is to a young baby or a young child. It isn't a dog. It's a house and a dog and a tree and that kind of thing. So we would take a subject, we mothers, there were about 10 of us, and we would take a subject and we would cut out, let's say we did dogs. So we would cut out every single dog. It's a German Shepherd. And then you would put it on, he called it, I don't know, it's like just a single piece of information. So you would go German Shepherd, right? You'd show it to him. And, we just did all the dogs, right? My husband helped me with it. And by the time my son was 2, he knew every single president, the name of them and information about them. It was really amazing. He was running 2 miles by 3. Age 3, we'd go, because Glenn was really big on physical stuff too. We all built brachiating bars. That's what he called them. They're, like monkey bars. And we all built them in the back of our homes. So the kids would come over and they would just be like monkeys. They'd just be on there, flipping around and stuff like that. It was amazing. We learned Japanese because you had to pick a language. You said do any foreign language, but kids as babies, that's when they can learn the most. They're the most available to learn at that young age. So he said, don't waste it. Thank you, love it. Yeah, it is cool. It's kind of amazing, isn't it? And so we did Japanese. And then the other thing was he was really big on music. And a lot of the brain injured parents had been teaching their children. They found Dr. Suzuki in Japan, and he made these tiny violins for little 2-year-olds. And they would start with Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, right? But by, 4 or 5, these guys were brilliant at playing violin. So we did that for a while. It was very educational. Let's see, wait. Hi, Tori. Have you watched the movie Battlefield Earth? If so, what did you think of it? I didn't watch. Yes, I watched it because we kind of had to, but all of us thought it was awful when we were in Scientology. And I still think it's awful. It's one of the worst movies, I think, of the decade or of the century. It's awful. And I feel bad because I really love John Travolta. And it could have been so much better. If you remember, like Star Wars, like they had that whole big intro to walk you into Star Wars. And if they had just done something like that with Battlefield Earth, I'm not saying it would have been okay, because it's hard to imagine it being okay, but it would have been better, at least. At least people would have understood it a little bit. Was not right for you while you were in it. Okay, now what does that mean? What is the question there? Zanvia, was not right for you while you were in it. Are you saying it was not right for me? Or what I'm talking about the kids endowment, so now I'm confused. What is not right for you while you were in it? Tori has many videos that explain her journey to escape. They're great. Yeah, that's true. I do. And I've made over 1,000 videos explaining all kinds of stuff that you might have questions about. So you can definitely go to you're on my YouTube site, but you can look at the different videos. And one of the easy ones is just type in, you're already on Tori Magoo 44. That's my YouTube site. And then just put a plus sign, escape. And I made a 10-part series on escaping out after I've been out for 10 years, because so many people have the same repetitive questions. So I made a big escape series, and I think I've redone it recently a few times. And now I have it over on TikTok, so it's a good little series. And they're short. They're like 5 minutes at the most. Okay, Tom was shopping today, saw a group of disabled people, checked and found they were all victims of L. Ron Hubbard, implanted by L. Ron Hubbard. Was a psychiatrist. Oh, Hubbard was a psychiatrist in most of his past lives. Did someone actually tell you that? They were victim? I've never seen anyone. The only person I know, well, myself, because I have epilepsy and they made me get off my medicine and I lost my short-term memory. So that's kind of screwed up. I do know some. Another lady on their purification rundown went blind in one eye. But I don't know as far as them turning people into disabled people. Maybe. It sounds a little bit unusual, but anyway, it could be. Neuroplasticity is something we can all take advantage of. It's so good to be reminded. Yeah, it really is. I mean, I loved it. Hi, Sophie. I was fascinated with it. I really was. It was really something that every day we came up with something new. And then we would have to fly back there and they would, like at 2, because we were teaching them how to read and we were teaching them math and we were teaching them, all kinds of stuff, right? Single pieces of information. And so now we fly back there and they go, guess what? And I go, what? And they go, your son is reading. And I go, how do you know? And they go, well, we have a way of testing them. He can't express it yet, so you don't know that he's reading, but he's reading. He knows it. It was just really cool to go back there and have different things that they would do with them. It was really cool. And we were in with a bunch of the disabled children and their parents. So, we got to know them and follow their stories. And some of them had just incredible stories where they're literally like, the top of their class and, number one. And, they won their track race and, just all kinds of awesome things. I mean, it really was a highlight in my life. And one of the things that was amazing is one of the Scientologists found out I was doing that. And she would constantly write up a knowledge report saying how bad I was because I was doing another practice than Scientology. And I would have to go to ethics. They would say, okay, she wrote another knowledge report on you. And I'd say, look, listen to me. This woman has never been to my house. She has no idea what I'm actually doing. And until she does, I have no intention of answering it. And even after I escaped out, I was invited to an independent party and I thought, okay, I'll go. It was right when I got out. And independents are people still using the technology, but they're out of the church. So I went and there she is. And some people from Japan were there and she's telling them how horrible I was because I was in Scientology doing the Doman technology. And I said, Grace, I can't believe you were honestly still bitching about me. It was just unbelievable. It really was. Okay, everybody's saying hi to Sophie and love it. Good evening. Tom was trolling. Okay. Tom was trolling. I forget what Tom. Oh, where he was shopping. Okay, okay. So that's icky. I don't like that. If that's just trolling, can you delete that, love it? Because it's kind of icky, and I don't want anybody to read it in the future. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, that's right. Someone told me that when it's live, once it's done, it goes away. Is that true? I think so, though. No, I think you can hear the video, but you can't see the comments. I think that's right. Okay, thank you, Sophie, for putting that up there. Good to see you. Speaking of neuroplasticity, have you read any of Joe Dispenza's stuff? I haven't. I don't know. What is it about, Sieglin? And you as well. I watched his series, fascinating stuff. His medio something aren't for me because his voice makes me think of Joker Simpson. Homer Simpson. I gotcha. Hello, 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 hello. Sophie, I know a girl whose parents were told she would never talk or anything, but her mom found an alternative doctor who believed in rewiring the brain, and she now lives a relatively independent life. That's how these kids were. It was a miracle. It was so fantastic. And it was wonderful to watch our children. I mean, they were just tremendous. I mean, they learned so much stuff. It was so cool. I didn't know Tori had an updated playlist. Thanks for sharing, Sophie. Oh, I didn't either. It's an updated playlist. Let me see what it is. Tori escape playlist about her escape. Okay. Can you send it to me, Sophie? I don't know which one it is. I'm just curious. Okay. Moon and Stars. Yeah, it's her birthday. Thank you, love it. Yes, Tori, once we delete it, they are gone. Sophie, it's Moon and Star's birthday today. That's right, it is. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Moon and Stars. This is going to be a good year for you, Moon and Stars, I can tell. I can feel it. I can. Anyway, Sophie, just to catch you up, the topic tonight was Scientology, are they in your children's school? Because it's almost September, I just want people to check in their public schools to make sure the Hubbard technology is not being used there. Because, they got Narcanon in all of the public schools here in California. We got them out. I helped with that. But now they're apparently, it's been many, many years they were out, and now they're back in, somebody told me. So you got to stay on top of it and check with them. YW. Okay, August 18th or 19th, Moon and Stars. Oh, August 28th or 19th. Well, today's the 19th. You mean the 18th or the 19th? I think it's the 19th because she said at 1:20 it starts. So I think it's the 19th. Yay, I was right. You did it. I'm awful at math usually, so if ever I get anything right. Oh, you're welcome. Oh, nice. Thank you, Connie, for showing me that. It's so funny. I have a hard time with all the little acronyms and stuff, but I get by one way or the other. And thank you all for helping me. Moon and Stars, same as my dear friend Ginger Baker. All right. I'm horrible at math. Me too. Ew and ick and Bill Clinton. Well, you got to share your birthday with some people. All right, you kids. Like the Ginger Baker? Yes. Ooh. Interesting. This year is going by too fast. Amen, JB808. I just can't believe it. It seems like I can't even remember what month you went to Japan. I think it was in June, right? It was around my birthday, I think. the great Ginger Baker. Everyone, have a great day. Time for bed here. All right, Moon and Stars, have a wonderful birthday. We love you. And thank you for coming by. And really have a great birthday. I hope it's very, very special. I think with that, we're going to end off. If you guys are okay with that, because I have to get up early tomorrow. You are welcome, Moon and Stars. Connie B, he was my drum teacher when I was younger. Then I lived with him and his wife. He was the best. Wow. Good night, Moon and Stars. Make sure to celebrate every minute of your whole day tomorrow. Have a great birthday and eat cake. Yeah. Love it. And I definitely did that. I was thinking about that tonight, the pastry shop where we went. Oh, it was so delicious. I loved it. You're so cool. Yeah, she is cool. You guys are all cool. Well, have a wonderful, wonderful birthday week. That's right, JB808. Yeah, we decided that Moon and Stars just when we turned 50, because so many people would say, "Oh, I'm sorry I missed your birthday. It's belated, blah, blah, blah." So we started, no, it's a birthday week. So you have a whole week that you can write and say happy birthday or come over or go somewhere, that kind of thing. It's much more fun. It really is. And it's fun for everybody because then nobody misses out. Have a great evening. You too, Sophie. Thanks for coming by and thanks for being moderating. You and love it, you rascals. All right. Or you can do a birthday month. Well, that's at 60. That's what we did at 50. It was a birthday week. And then at 60, it's a birthday month from then on. Because it's like, forget about it. We know too many people. All right. Well, I love you guys tons. Thank you for coming by. And have an excellent day tomorrow. All right. And I will see you Wednesday. Peace out. Oh, yeah, that's right. There we go.